The weight of a nation, the eyes of the world. On home soil, the Stars and Stripes are writing a brand new chapter in U.S. soccer history, and the pressure has never been higher. The final whistle has blown, the smoke has settled, and our coverage is just heating up. From the tactical battlegrounds to the moments that define a new generation, we are leaving absolutely nothing on the table. From the Empty the Bench Network, this is your exclusive Team USA World Cup post-match reaction show as we empty the pitch. Hello again, my friends. It is an absolute dream night for the U.S. men's national team playing their first home game of the World Cup in 32 years on home soil, and nothing better than a 4-1 victory over the Paraguay national team on this Friday night, June the 12th, 2026. He is Trevor Williams, joining us from Columbus, Ohio. Yours truly, Callan and Trevor, joining you folks here in San Diego, California, on our first edition of In-Tournament Action here for ETP, live on Empty the Bench across YouTube and on Twitter. Hello to the 195 fans supporting us here already this evening. Trevor, welcome in, my man, literally rolling in from the bars of Columbus, Ohio. Trevor, great win for the for Team USA tonight. Obviously, you want to obviously get off on the right foot though when you begin play in the World Cup though. But certainly, probably didn't see 4 goals being scored though. But it is what it is though. But Trevor, great to see you, my man. How we doing tonight? Trevor, you're on mute, buddy.
Pretty good from the most part. Got a jet in straight from work, so I've been watching the game from the work office suite, and now I finally made it home in the nick of time, right before the show went live. So the quickest change of my life, switching from work outfit to USA attire relatively quickly. And now we're going to talk about a glorious victory for the United States of America.
Huge win for Team USA again as the numbers climb. Hello to the 221 faithful joining us for roughly the next 87 minutes now with some stoppage time. We're here for the full 90 though. Here visiting, but of course, folks, you can follow the show on social media, on Twitter and on IG at Empty the Pitch. Of course, follow ETB on social media, on Twitter, IG, and on TikTok. And more importantly, please go like and subscribe at youtube.com/ETB Network. Again, Trevor and I are going to be here after every Team USA match. We are back here again with you tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time, to get you caught up on what we saw on Thursday, the amazing first game on Friday between Bosnia and Canada that had us losing our minds, to, of course, a full preview of the 4-game slate starting on Saturday. So again, like and subscribe, ring that notification bell, youtube.com/ETB Network. Well, Trevor, I'll tell you what, my man, around the time that it begins to kind of get closer to game time, I get very much nervous excitement about what's going to be building. And by the way, 70,942 people cramming Los Angeles Stadium in Inglewood tonight. But Trevor, from the word go, Team USA just came out here and just seemed to blitzkrieg the Paraguay defense. I mean, between everything that they had going today, and although Trevor gets underway though with a 7th-minute cross in by Christian Pulisic, which, by the way, we are keeping an eye, though, folks, on social media, as we know very well. We reported on this, too, on our Twitter account, that Pulisic was pulled at halftime by head coach Mauricio Pochettino. There would be no public commentary until the match was over, so we're waiting to hear the official ruling or the official announcement from Coach Pochettino and from Team USA, so we'll keep an eye on that as time goes on. But, Trevor, it seemed like, though, the first 7 minutes that Team USA really didn't let Paraguay in their half of the field, though. I think Paraguay had one good look, though, but Matt Freese made the save, though, knocked the ball out of bounds, what have you. And then from there, Trevor, it was all Team USA with their speed. And they get rewarded, though, Trevor, early on, though, with a opening goal via the own goal fashion off the Paraguay defender, and it goes in for the 1-0 lead to start off the game just 7 minutes into the match.
I would say even if you look at the first half, just look from the stats, the U.S. just dominated ball possession. At one point, it was like down to like 70-30 USA for possession of that game. So it's good that we came out strong and dominant, and it just goes to show you what happens when you play a strong first half. But in the second half, they gave up a little bit, but that's, when you're up 3 goals, you're tend to going to have those mistakes like that, but that's fine. But getting a goal differential of 3 in your home opener is critical in this group, because we don't know what's going to look like in Turkey and Australia, because I think those games are either close losses or ties in that instance.
Yeah, Trevor. So Team USA takes the lead, though, early on in the first half, which, by the way, quick break here. We have an update. Per Tom Bogert, who has been covering Team USA for The Athletic and for CBS Sports Golazo, we have the ruling here, folks, on Christian Pulisic. Per Tom Bogert, Mauricio Pochettino tells Fox that Pulisic got a kick in the calf and started to feel tight and did not want to take any further risk. But he did, though, as I said, though, on Twitter via Jenny Taps reporting, he looked to the family and friends section and said, "I'm good." So, Trevor, we know very well, though, again, first game, you don't want to take those dings too much, though. So, bit of a tight calf for Pulisic, but thankfully nothing more serious, but more of a precautionary measure to pull him out of the game tonight at the end of the first half.
Yeah, I think it's a smart tactic, like you said, Callan. Like, it's a long campaign, and trying to keep your players healthy is very critical on top of that. But also, this was another physical game if you want to look at the fouls. Like, USA committed about 13 and Paraguay committed about 17. So across the board, it's been a physical World Cup thus far. Even look at what Mexico played. There was 3 red cards in the first game. Like, compared to other World Cups, it hasn't been that aggressive. But this is pretty much one of the more physical ones that we've seen thus far.
Very, very much so. And by the way, we should mention that all this, though, Trevor, was kind of on the heels of the crescendo moment last year in Philadelphia, in Chester, to be exact, though, where at the very end of the match between Paraguay and Team USA, full-fledged bench-clearing melee broke out along the sidelines when the game was blown dead. Numerous red cards were handed out. I think there was some suspensions given out. So certainly some, tough love, some bad blood, though, and it didn't reach that moment tonight, though, Trevor, but it certainly could have gone that way if this game would have gone further and further, down that hill, though, if the scoreline would have been worse than 4-1, 5-1, 7-1, what have you.
Yeah, but hey, it's a great win. It's a great way to start off, the World Cup campaign, and hopefully Team USA can get a little bit better each time as we continue to play against tougher and tougher opponents. Keep this momentum going. I feel, what is our next game? Australia
next Friday.
Or Turkey?
Australia next Friday.
Australia next Friday. I think that's going to be another physical game that we're going to see a lot of fouls. But now, again, the question is, how will the refs determine some of these calls? Because at some point, it's going to start getting ugly as we start seeing other games starting to, I would say, persist over the weekend.
So Team USA goes up in the first 7 minutes of the game on a own goal by Damian Bobadilla for Paraguay. Then, Trevor, this becomes the Flo Balogun match for Team USA. Flo, though, is called offside on the first goal he scored, roughly in the 30th minute. But then he comes right back. And by the way, Christian Pulisic, before he came out, Trevor, had his stamp on this first half, though. I mean, I think he set up Flo for that first goal, though. Beautiful crossing pass in. Balogun, taps it in. They're not going to wave that one off, though. Then, though, Trevor, they nearly had a third one, though, about, per my notebook here, they had one of almost 6 minutes apart. But Chris Richards, who, by the way, finally got himself healthy after that ankle injury he suffered back in mid-May, but just heads it wide, though. But, Trevor, can we go back real quick, though, and just talk about that first Flo Balogun goal? Because, I mean, I thought he had the first one for sure, though, but just a nick off sides, though. But then, about a minute later, they come right back down. And by the way, Pulisic was eating up that left side defensive core for Paraguay all day, and they finally began to try to double team him. He still, though, was able to get the passes out, though, and then Balogun's not going to miss that shot, though. So to go up 2-0, though, 30 minutes into the game, though, I think huge morale boost for Team USA for going up via the own goal.
Yep. And then even on top of that, going to the 45th minute with extra time in the first half, getting that third goal right there kind of sealed its fate going in. You feeling great, 3-0 lead, and then you start looking towards the second half where Paraguay doesn't score until the 73rd minute. Right there, you would think like, oh, are we going to start to collapsing? Is Paraguay going to try to make an offensive late in this game? But then you go into extra time in the 90th minute. The icing on the cake, basically, I'm going to argue the 79th minute when the last goal gets scored in. Like, that was like a death-defying blow right there. It's like, there's nothing else left. What a great home opener in LA. That's all you got right there. That is the perfect way to finish off that game with that last second goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think also, Trevor, the beauty of the goal of the third one, but the second one that Flo scores, he takes the pass at the top of the 18 on the right side, 2 dribbles to beat 2 men, and then top bins over the keeper, who I thought Orlando Gill played his best, though, to keep his team in the game, though, but he had no defensive help, though, whatsoever. But Flo Balogun with 2 goals, though, in the first half of play. As we get to the second half, though, again, Sebastian Berhalter came in for Pulisic, though, as we, again, just heard, though, from Tom Bogert of The Athletic. Again, Pulisic was kicked in the back of the calf. They did not want to push this any further. They pulled him out at halftime. Trevor, one thing we did touch base on the show on Wednesday was what they were allowed to VAR or VAR and review via the video assistant referee. This moment, Trevor, comes in the 50th minute with Tim Ream going for a ball in the American half of the field, though, towards the goal line. And he gets tied up, though, with a Paraguay player who does the usual circus act of flopping around like a fish out of water. The referee, though, gives Tim Ream the yellow initially, but then, Trevor, we hear him go to the headset because they are allowed to go back and check if it was mistaken identity for there being a yellow card. Instead, the referee rescinds the yellow on Ream, gives it, though, to the player who committed the flop, and the call goes from being on Team USA to on Paraguay 5 minutes into the second half of play. So that was the first time I had seen that. Very interesting to see how this plays out the remainder of the tournament. Like you said, though, on Wednesday, now does this in a way shift, though, how referees will now call the game because they can now kind of, in a way, VAR and review more things at their disposal?
Yep. I feel like we have to be very cautious on using that, especially when we get to outside of the group stage, because that's really going to dictate if it's a red card, does that red card now flip to the opposing team if you have a VAR moment like that? So sure, it's great now, but I guarantee you there's going to be a nastier penalty where it gets flipped, and we're going to be upset about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only danger I think that we have when it comes down to the potential usage, though, of VAR. By the way, as Trevor pointed out, those two. Very physical game, by the way. 6 combined cards issued. 5, though, on Paraguay. Just the 1, though, on Tyler Adams that came 9 minutes after the Ream one was rescinded and given to the Paraguay player instead. More subs came in the 71st minute with Ricardo Pepi and Tim Weah coming in for, if I can read my chicken scratch here, my apologies, in for Dest with that one change. And then, though, Trevor, as you said, though, a little bit of like some taking the foot off the gas pedal, though, come the 73rd minute, though, when Mauricio scores for Paraguay. It was a bit of a pinball. 3 guys were there. The ball got through into open space, and Matt Freese was kind of left out high and dry. So not much you could do there, though, but you don't want to, in a way, as you kind of pointed out, though, don't be starting to sit back when you're up by 3, though, when you're trying to play when you're still trying to play the full 90. So I think a bit of a tough break, though, but still, though, I think could have done something a little bit different, though, if you ask me, in that situation.
Yeah, that was probably like their only mistake the entire night. Outside of that, it was a dominant performance. And from there, it's like you just use that as momentum builder. Like going against Australia I guess in 2 weeks.
Next Friday.
You got that week next Friday. You have a capability of putting Turkey and Australia in a really interesting spot if they do draw tomorrow. So we'll see how that ends up playing itself out. Hopefully they draw and it gives USA a nice little clean break so they can sacrifice the draw. But you don't want to wait to the group, like 3rd game of the group stage, and try to decide your fate. Like, you got to win your second one and know that you're in the driver's seat. And outside of that, there's nothing else you can control after that.
A couple more tidbits, though, from the match, folks. Again, more yellows issued, though, to Paraguay, minute 79, minute 88. Then, though, Trevor, Gio Reyna checks in the 82nd minute. And by 90 plus 8, Trevor, another Golazo from way outside, side of the foot, though, side netting, 4-1. And I thought the roof was going to blow off LA Stadium, Trevor, when he scored that goal, because that was an absolute banger from the top of the box, kind of off to the right wing side, though. But it's off the side of his foot, though, not getting it cleanly, but still, though, right over Gill in the, side netting to just, again, blow the roof off LA Stadium with again, over 70,000 plus in attendance at the game tonight in Inglewood, California.
Yep, that was a death-defying goal. Like, I watched him like, yep, that's the dagger. That's all you need right there.
So again, folks, Team USA beats Paraguay 4-1. They go to 1 win, no draws, and no losses for 3 points, while Paraguay goes to 0-1 and into the cellar right now of Group D play. As Trevor said, though, the Aussies will take on Turkey tomorrow. I believe they're playing in Seattle tomorrow, I think, and that'll be the evening game from Seattle, Washington. Yes, Christy Wilson writes in with the chance of USA, USA, USA. I mean, definitely so. I was running the Empty the Pitch Twitter account, Trevor, today, trying to just, retweet all the scenes around America, as, I will be documenting in about a week's time on Benchmarks, Trevor, about the Landon Donovan goal in 2010. How everybody, was up early in the morning or in the afternoon watching the game. You have to win the match to move on out of the group. And it comes down to the final 4 minutes of stoppage time. Landon scores the goal. And then all the videos, Trevor, of all the bars in Columbus or San Diego, New York, New Jersey, Chicago, of all these people, up early to watch the match, though, that, that moment lives on, rent free forever. And even today, again, just like, searching through and, resharing, stuff from all the MLS clubs and, across the states and across Canada, just so cool to see everyone, how everyone, how everyone is reacting and celebrating during the World Cup, though. I mean, I know we kind of get that a bit during the Olympic Games, though, but I don't know if it's quite still at the level, though, of the World Cup.
Yeah, I agree. I would say for the Olympics, it's equivalent to the gold medal match in hockey. I feel like that's the closest intensity that you get. But the World Cup is for the entire 4 to 5 weeks that we have for it. So it's just like it just keeps building that momentum all the way through. But if we look at Paraguay, for example, they really played back and they were playing on their defensive. They went out to a 4-4-2 kind of start. So they were already playing on that defensive grid, just to be like saying, we're just trying to not give up any goals and we rather draw with the U.S. than take an L. That's how I felt like they were playing it, and the U.S. saying, we're just going to go out and attack you. And if you're sitting back, you're just going to create more space for us to go and get the goals we need to advance within our group.
I couldn't agree more, Trevor. I was very, in a way, like not mortified, but just kind of taken aback about how Paraguay just kind of let Team USA punch them in the mouth every single possession, because for, like I said, between minute 7 and minute, all from minute 7 until the end of the first half, Trevor, I don't think Paraguay was able to get anything offensively going. Like, they were always, having to retreat back and defend. Like I said, though, about Pulisic setting up the, I believe, second goal for Flo Balogun. I mean, they finally had to put 2 guys on him on the left wing side. And every time he got the ball, man, he was already 10 yards ahead of the next guy behind him. And that created so much, open space for McKinney, for Robinson, even for, Balogun to make to score, 1 in both those goals, though. But Paraguay did not adjust, though. I think, though, Trevor, we see this all the time, though, when you fall behind, you are adjusting on the fly, though. And it just looked like Paraguay either never did adjust, or Team USA just kind of, or Team USA just kept seeing what they were doing. Like, hey, we already took advantage of it once. We got to do it again and again and again. And they did.
Yep. I mean, from even the U.S. standpoint of just looking at how we played and just making sure that I would say, just dominate from the performance. I'm just trying to look at the formation, but I think we end up going with a 4-2-3-1 for our formation. So, I mean, we had a lot of midfield just to keep that defense at bay, but we still have 4 back defenders that just were solid from start to finish outside of that one blunder in the 73rd minute. But hey, outside of that formation looked good for us. I mean, later in the game, depending how things look out, maybe we shift with a second a striker, depending if we want to get a few more goals. But I feel like when we're going to go against Australia next week, I can see us playing a little defensive, but I wouldn't do that. I'd rather just go out and attack Australia and make them sit back and play defensive the entire game. I'd rather get the goal first and put them on a panic scenario.
And I think that's what Team USA did so well, though, was that they kept pressing forward. They didn't sit back and begin to park the bus when they went up 1-0 on the own goal, kicked in by Damian Bobadilla back in minute 7, because, again, Trevor, they kept going and going. And I also love, though, Trevor, how Flo Balogun didn't let that offside goal that got negated at the very, again, with the very much like the delayed offside in hockey that he already had scored. But they took about 10 seconds, I'd say, to kind of look it back over. He was offside by like maybe a fingernail or a toenail or an elbow. But I love how he came right back, though, and scored that second goal after having that first one disallowed like literally a minute later.
Yeah. What a time. What a time it was on that pitch. That's all I got for that.
Yeah. Again, folks, we're just getting some more information real quick here regarding the status of Christian Pulisic, who, again, was pulled at halftime, at the start of halftime for today's match. And, again, per the Athletics' Tom Bogert, we can confirm via Tom's reporting that Christian Pulisic, again, was pulled from the game due to what is being called a very much precautionary measure involving his calf. He was kicked in the calf during the match and has apparently told the media, as this news keeps breaking here across ESPN and per The Athletic, but both per Tom Bogert of The Athletic and ESPN, Christian Pulisic officially tells the media that he says he was kicked in the back of the calf and he does not think it is anything at all other than just that little bit of a soft tissue injury. So again, Trevor, not a whole lot to really go off there, except for just the fact of, I also think, though, Trevor, you're up by 3. I don't think you really wanted to push too many of the guys too hard in match 1 of 3 with 2 more to come.
Yeah, I think like once we got those 3 goals at that point, I felt like you said, second half, you cruise a little bit, but at the same time, you can't let off the gas, because once you lose that point differential in this group stage, it puts you in a spot where it's like, we're only up by 1 goal, and then you just see Australia goes off against Paraguay, and it just turns into a 7-1 victory. Now it's like, well, I wish we scored more goals type of scenario. But hey, we got our 3. Be happy with it, but you can never be satisfied when you can always get more goals.
Again, folks, welcome into Empty the Pitch as we recap Team USA's 4-1 victory over Paraguay in the first game of the 2026 FIFA World Cup from Los Angeles Stadium out in Inglewood, California. Again, if you're just joining us, folks, to recap the match real quick again, Team USA with 3 first-half goals via an own goal back in minute 7. Back-to-back goals for Flo Balogun, minute 31 and 45, while Gio Reyna put one in the 98th minute of stoppage time, while Mauricio scored as a sub for Paraguay back in minute 73 in tonight's match for Paraguay, who falls to 0-0-1 with no points, while Team USA is now 1-0-0 with 3 points and on top of the table, as we've already alluded to as well. But Australia will play Turkey to round out the opening legs of Group D tomorrow in the evening to round out the first part of the group stage. Final numbers real quick from the box score here. 4 shots on goal. Team USA was 6. Paraguay only had 1 shot on goal. That wound up being the only goal for the night for them. Total shots in general, 17-8 in favor of Team USA. But, of course, Trevor, possession time, my man, was the big talking point. 63% possession for Team USA to compare to Paraguay's 37, where once again, Trevor, will say that's where I think Paraguay loses the game, not because of a scoreline, but they just did not seem to adjust when they fell behind so early in the game, especially when you have the self-inflicted wound of the own goal 7 minutes into the game.
Because a lot of times when a team's up 1-0 in most games, they kind of hold on to the ball and do slow passing and not trying to, give up any extra goals, which tends to work. But we've seen that happen to a lot of the great teams, aka Italy, when they started doing that, and they end up losing. So I'm in that scenario where it's like 1 goal is not enough. You need 2 to feel confident. unless you're playing against a soccer powerhouse, for example, France, what they did in the last World Cup against Argentina, where they were down 2 goals and they got their third, but Kylian Mbappe surged his way back into that game and takes it into extra time. So it's sometimes it's just who you're up against. But a lot of teams, if you're not dealing with the powerhouse, 2 goals kind of ends the game. 1 goal puts them in a panic to try to quickly score to equalize, because we saw that today with Canada. They were down and they had to dig deep to find a way to equalize in that matchup.
And we'll have more about the games on Thursday and the games on Friday, this game partially, and the full slate on Saturday when we come back with you folks on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time, to give you the full breakdown of where things stand. We're going to do that every Saturday, folks, all the way to the World Cup final. So we're going to be here with you every morning to get your day started, though, to catch you up on what you missed, some breaking news or whatnot. And again, if you are, again, just joining us once more, but again, Christian Pulisic, though, again, subbed off at halftime due to a calf issue, did not return to the match, though, but did tell reporters, though, he does not think it is anything too out of the ordinary, and that is, again, per ESPN, Fox Sports, and The Athletic, with the reporting done from Inglewood this evening. Trevor, how about we get to the heart of the match moments here, where we talk about the 3 most impactful moments of the match, whether it be goals, big saves, or pivotal shifts in momentum. Trevor, I got to think, though, that this all begins, I think, with the opening shot being fired, though, when it comes to the own goal, because, I thought, though, Paraguay came back great defensively on that play, but it's very much a tale of 2 plays. Speaking of the Canada-Bosnia match, Canada almost scores twice, but Bosnia's defenders come back. They clear the ball off the line, though, and one of them bounces off the crossbar and doesn't go in on a similar play, though, where hitter Trevor, moment 1 for me, though, is Pulisic again, who, again, was a absolute dog tonight for Team USA. Again, draws all the attention coming in, down the left wing into the box. And again, Trevor put the ball towards the net, and good things happen, and it's knocked in by Damian Bobadilla for the early lead for Team USA on the own goal.
Yep, that was definitely a key moment in that. Without that goal, I feel like the game might be slightly different. It might take us a little bit longer before we even got that first goal. But once you get that own goal in there, it changes morale real quick. I feel like as a team that gives up the own goal, it's like now I really put myself in the worst possible position to be in. And now I got to figure out a way to get this goal early, because we gave it up in the 7th minute versus we gave up around minute 32. And it's like, all right, we got halftime. We can make the adjustments and we can make our way back. But when you do it so early, it feels like you got more than 83 minutes to make a comeback in this one. And that makes it extremely difficult to do.
Good little nugget here from our producer, Nick Morganson, who's hanging out with us tonight. He says, fellas, quick stat, Team USA's 4 goals are the most ever for the team in a single World Cup match. And again, Trevor, it comes, though, the first game when you have to have the match, you have to have game 1. And boy, talk about delivering in the clutch, though, or in a big moment like this.
Yeah, that was 4 goals. I feel like it's almost equivalent to the 2018 when Russia had 5 goals in their opening match. It's a death-defying win, and it really gets that campaign started, because when Russia did that in 2018, they had a very solid campaign. Got, I think, to around 32? Or
yeah, they were very, very well done when that happened, though. And also, real quick, some more stats that we're getting here. Again, Chris Richards just coming back off the ankle injury. He'd been very much, I think, Trevor, a not controversial, but very much a question mark, because he's coming off the ankle injury. How about this, Trevor? I mean, this is better than NFL quarterback numbers. 83 for 83 on passes, the most passes with the accuracy by any player in the World Cup since 60 years ago in 1966, when England last won the World Cup.
So it's coming home. That's what you're telling me, right? But that is such a perfect number of just efficient pass rating. You don't see that. It's so difficult, because a lot of times it gets intercepted, it gets tipped, And those numbers aren't as pretty as a perfect 100%. But by any player, though, we're not going to see that for the rest of the World Cup. Like that, we just got lucky with that number, honestly.
And one more nugget here real quick from Nick Morgeson, our producer. Again, Team USA's +3 goal differential, largest in a World Cup win since the 1930 World Cup, Trevor, when they finished in third place.
Wow. I have no words on it. It's such a long time to get that 3-goal differential, but I mean, we don't have that team that stuns the world and we're like the soccer powerhouse. Like, yes, we have teams that can go through, but it's an impressive feat when you take care of business when it matters the most. Because sometimes when we play the smaller countries as the US, like we may get a score of a 1 differential, like 2-1, and that's how we end it. Like getting
2-0, 2-1, 3-2, 1-0.
Nothing fancy like this. So this is a home opener, I would say energizer. I think it's almost be like equivalent if Mexico really went like 4-0 against South Africa. I think Mexico would be a different ballpark right now, but them going up 2-0 against South Africa, that was their momentum. If they got 3, they would be in the same boat as us, how I would feel like.
Before, folks, we resume, I'd like to remind you that coming up this weekend, we have a weekend unlike any other in the history of combat sports. It is the weekend of UFC Freedom 250 from the nation's capital, as the White House prepares to host the most historic event in UFC history of UFC Freedom 250, and ETB is your proud home for every second of the action, as we have wall-to-wall coverage lined up to take you from the weigh-ins all the way to the final closing of the Octagon door on the South Lawn. Join Tom Albano and Zam Bando all weekend, starting on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, June 13th, for the pre-show where they break down the title unification clash between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje, and the interim heavyweight showdown between Alex Pereira and Cyril Gane, and everything else you need to know ahead of the upcoming Monumental Night. Then on Sunday, Zan Zinger Part 2 is going to be on the air at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and start your fight day off with that version of Zinger Part 2, where Zan will dive into the final narratives and last-minute updates that you cannot miss. And more importantly, after the fight card concludes on Sunday, stick around and join Tom and Zam for the 250 post-fight show, as they have the instant reaction, scoreboard analysis, and a look ahead at what is next for the winners and losers of this historic milestone. So don't miss a minute of the coverage. Follow ETB right now all weekend as they bring you closer to cage number 4, and please go like and subscribe at youtube.com/ETB network. And also, that includes our show tomorrow morning and an NBA Finals recap show with Nick Morgeson and Johnny Montalbano on Saturday as well. So we'll see if the Knicks win the NBA title, if the Spurs will force a Game 6, and of course, plenty of UFC content as well over the entire course of our weekend. Let's get to a quick comment here from Mr. Jose DeLuz. Gio Reyna scored the most beautiful USA goal ever. I mean, Trevor, it's one thing to score, but when it's a side-footed volley like that from that far out, though, and also more importantly, into the side netting, and the roof was, like I said, I thought the roof was going to blow off of the stadium and I also, by the way, I loved Jose, how the bench mobbed Gio Reyna for how he came in back in the 82nd minute, though, and he scores about 10 minutes later, though. I mean, Trevor, I don't think you could have asked for a better World Cup showing for Gio Reyna than coming in and making some kind of an impact with that goal to put the icing on the cake, though, in minute 98.
Yep, seeing everyone gather around him, like that is a true moment that will last a good while until the next American moment in this World Cup, where it is that death-defying equalizer goal to bring us back from a draw defeat, or that goal to pull us ahead to close out a magnificent win over possibly Australia or Turkey to get out of that group stage environment. So I feel like we still have many more magical goals left in this team for Team USA, but the journey is just getting started. We're starting off great, and that is a great way to complete stage, I would say, game 1 of our World Cup campaign.
Jose, I did not mean to miss your first comment. He says, though, hey, guys, wonderful game. 2 Balogun and poetic goal by Reyna. Unforgettable, as we just said, though, again, the right foot off the side of it, side netting, case closed, give us the 3 points. Again, Team USA beats Paraguay 4-1 from Los Angeles Stadium tonight on this second day of the World Cup. and the first game for Team USA and the first home game for them since the 1994 FIFA World Cup. That, of course, happening 32 years ago around this time of the year. Trevor, I'm pretty sure we're going to go, or we know who is going to be our man of the match. But Trevor, goes without saying, though, it's a very easy pick, though. Our man of the match, Flo Balogun, with 2 goals in the 31st minute and in stoppage time, though. 2 beautiful goals, including, as we said, though, one that was called back for an offside whistle back in the 30th minute of play, though. But Balogun logs 2 goals, minute 31 and minute 45, plus 5 of stoppage time. Trevor, talk about a man on a mission, though, and the photos that have been shared of his celebrations, though, stone cold. I love it.
Yep, I couldn't agree more with this pick. I mean, getting 2 goals, especially getting that 3rd goal in the extra minute, that really put Paraguay in a situation that they did not want to be in for the rest of the game. I can tell you that 100%. I mean, giving up, that 2nd goal, like right then and there in the 31 minute, like just shortly after that review, and now you gave up that goal. It's like, all right, can we just like stop the pain that we're going through and can finish out the half? But then you give one up at, extra time in the 45th minute or 50th minute at that point. It's really tough when you're in that scenario when that happens to you right before half.
So with that in mind, just go with the flow, baby. Flo Balogun is our first ETP man of the match. 2 goals for Balogun in minute 31 and minute 45 as the Yanks go marching into LA and beat Paraguay 4-1. What do you got, Trevor?
I'm sure that Progressive is probably going to capitalize on his name at some point.
They need to. I mean, bad enough, because for those wondering, our producer, founder, executive chairman of the board, Nick Morgeson, is on the show. He's producing the show for us and helping us out tonight in the background. We heard John Strong make the reference of Paraguay is emptying the bench, and Nick is like, "Where is our royalties at?" I mean, he like, come on now, where is that at?
Yep.
It's in the chat box. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Jose. You guys are awesome. Wish you had started years ago. I've been here we both have been here for about a year on the network here, Jose. So real quick, my man, we're going to be with you again Saturday morning, every Saturday, starting tomorrow to recap what we missed from Thursday and Friday or the whole week. We're also going to preview the Saturday slate and the weekend slate, but also we're going to be with you after every Team USA match. That includes next Friday afternoon. That includes the following Thursday late in the evening on the West Coast from LA. So, Jose, again, go like and subscribe to the channel, my man. That's youtube.com/ETB Network. And again, ring the bell so you don't miss out. You can also follow the show on social media. That's on Twitter and IG right now at Empty the Pitch. And again, more importantly, go right here and subscribe, though, Jose, because we're going to be here, as I said, after every Team USA game and every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time, to preview the full slate, recap what we missed. So we'll talk all things Mexico, South Africa, that Korea-Czechia match as well on Thursday night. We'll talk all things Canada-Bosnia with that epic game on Friday, and, of course, talk a bit more about Team USA. Any updates on Pulisic's injury, then we will preview the whole Saturday and Sunday slate of, I think, 8 games in 2 days. So if you are a soccer fan or a football fan, again, go right here, youtube.com/ETB Network, and get yourself on the ETB squad, and we will go from there. And yes, Christy, we agree. We want the royalties. Yeah. I know Nick does. He's giving us a nod of a massive bobblehead nod of approval down in the unseen box 3 of the producer suite. With that, Trevor, let's go and get some perspective from Coach Mauricio Pochettino. Trevor, I think the big question, I think we both would agree with, was who was going to be the man that won the goalkeeping starting job. I would say probably, Trevor, a little surprised though that Poach would go the route though of Matt Freese over Matt Turner. Again, Turner's been a long-standing goalkeeper, either overseas or in MLS though. But interesting though, Trevor, that he would put Freese in though after playing the last game of Germany and the unit match, and then he puts the saddle on him to start match 1 against Paraguay.
I think it might be one of those confidence things, like giving up 2 goals to Germany. I feel like, yes, Germany is more of a European powerhouse in terms of soccer, and only giving up 2 goals in that front, it could have been a lot worse. as we all know. But I think coming into this matchup, having an aggressive American attack to start out, I would say definitely give them that, like, I guess, sigh of relief. But now you got two more tougher opponents. I would say not middle of the road. I would say Australia is slightly below the European teams and slightly below the South American teams that have good squads like Colombia, Uruguay, Brazil. But it's just like Australia is a team that will go and get 2 goals in most matches when they have to. So it's like, can you make those key epic saves? And he kind of did that in Germany in some extent. But now it's like, all right, you got your confidence. Even though Paraguay only put 1 shot on goal, like, it's not too much. But at the same time, it's like you wish he had more shots attempted at him so you could at least get, moving in the goal, feeling more agile in that box on the line as well.
Yeah, Trevor, I remember talking to a few goalkeepers in my time in college or college soccer or indoor soccer. They say when the game is happening over there on the other side of the field, it can be a little bit tough to keep your head in the game, though, because your mind can wander. You're not as focused because you have no action. And I thought I even said I feel bad for Matt Friesman because he's got nothing to do except maybe do some lawn maintenance around the box. Maybe make a divot somewhere for if there's a PK, maybe to chew up the penalty dot or something. But it very much a mental lock in though. And again, Sally, the fact that the only goal that Paraguay gets though, Trevor, was a mix-up, though, with the back line, though, which left Mauricio wide open to tap in that goal past Matt Freese.
Yep. So outside of that, solid performance for what he can do based on our defense and our, back four that we have. So good start. I mean, if your back four doing their job, your goalkeeper shouldn't really have to do too much. Like, that's the bottom line, because once your back line starts failing, your goalkeeper is going to start yelling and start chirping, and it's just going to start falling apart slowly as the game progresses forward.
The rest of the starting 11 for Team USA, courtesy of Coach Pochettino, was Serginho Dest alongside Chris Richards, Tyler Adams, Anthony Robinson, Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic, Tim Ream, wearing the captain's armband, Alex Freeman, Malik Tillman, and Flo Balogun for the starting 11, with Gio Reyna, Ricardo Pepi, Sebastian Berhalter, and Tim Weah being the subs coming in off the bench for Team USA in the 4-1 win for them over Paraguay today. Trevor, I made my thoughts known on Tuesday because there's been a lot, and I think you and I have seen it a lot, though. Some of these swirling right now of the rumors about Mauricio's potential future with Team USA once the World Cup concludes. Is he going to go back overseas, go back to Argentina, go somewhere else? And I said, if you're Team USA, you got to lock in and block out that noise. And I think today was a proving ground moment for them, coming off that tune-up loss to Germany, that very great win, though, over Senegal, which I think, though, hopefully, broke the ice for Pulisic to start scoring again or what have you, even though he had a couple of assists, though, in the game, though. But, Trevor, how do you think, though, you would assess Mauricio's approach to the game, though, for coaching Team USA when it came to the lineup, or how he made those subs, though? And one of them paid off, though, with Reyna having that banger for goal number 4.
I think the subs that he made, like looking at where the subs were made, I think those were the key positions you got up early. Resting them is key in this World Cup based on how physical it is. You don't want to risk injury. And also you got to be mindful of cards getting drawn, because you don't want a ticky-tack yellow card when you could give a yellow card for another good valid reason why that should have been a yellow card. I mean, we like clean soccer, but when you have to give a reason, you got to give your reason when the reason's due. But again, got to keep it clean on the pitch as best we can. But like I said, the back four didn't get subbed out, so they got the endurance. They didn't have to make any adjustments. But let's say we go into Australia, does he start changing the back line if they start to get tired? If Australia goes on a very aggressive attack where they just keep coming after us and we just can't get our offense going.
Jose, for the rights that Matt Freese was on break time, he really was, Jose. I mean, like I said, that could be daunting, I think, for a goalkeeper to try to keep their head on straight when you've got the game being played for, again, as I kind of have said, though, from minute 7 all the way till the end of the first half, that game was being played practically over in the Paraguay half of the field, though. So good on Matt Freese to try to keep his head in the game somehow, some way. He's a better man than I am. Trevor, I would also agree, and I also think I'm a little surprised that Poach went the route, though, of the gamble of letting Chris Richards start, though, after he's been out for so long. And he got that injury, I think, in like mid-May. And a lot of people were casting doubt on him, being able to be fully healthy by the time that the tournament rolled around, though. But he was making so much great progress, though, as the game with Senegal rolled around. I think he was even available for the match with Germany, but they chose not to play him, though. And like I said, though, that back line got the full 90, and Chris Richards, Trevor, he got all 90, and he looked great out there on that first, on that ankle and first game back. So bravo to him more than anything else, I think.
I guess it's more mainly on the opponent that we have, as in Paraguay. If it was somebody else, I feel like the coach would have made a completely different decision on where that would put us. Like, if let's say we played Australia, he might have not started. And just like, you don't want to have a weak link out there when you have a team that can actually be detrimental if you have a weak link out there.
Also, by the way, quick nugget too from USA Soccer. Chris Richards alongside Flo Balogun, Alex Freeman, Matt Freese, and Malik Tillman, Trevor, all made their World Cup debuts tonight for Team USA. How about that?
That is beautiful. And a great way to start it off, too.
Great way to start it off with the win, but also I think on home soil, got to feel a little bit better about, got to feel a little special about that, though, too, with the event being held again here, Team USA, Canada, in Mexico. With that, Trevor, I got to wonder, though, about how the locker room's feeling, though. Again, obviously, you don't want to get too high after, match one. Obviously, I think, hold your breath. I think we all kind of in a way like, Pulisic is out of the game, when he got pulled at, got subbed out at halftime. I think, though, man, the locker room, I would say, I think they're probably saying, you know what, hey, great team win, great first win. Now, though, you got a week now to recover, rest up, and then get ready to go back, onto, the training grounds, maybe, maybe you take tomorrow off to travel to Seattle to get yourself acquainted to playing up there at Lumen Field up in Seattle. So I think, Trevor, mindset right now in the USA locker room should be what? Obviously celebrate it, though, but don't go too overzealous with it.
Yep. I feel like I wouldn't say it wasn't a win to be expected, but at the same time, never take a win for granted when it matters the most. Because I guarantee if we didn't win today, it would be a different type of atmosphere in that locker room, or only winning by one. And I feel like the country would have a different take on it. But being up by 3 goals, I think it's a good morale feeling, 100% going in. And then now you have Australia. I think now it's like we have a chance to actually be in a dangerous situation with Australia, to be on the aggressive front. But I guarantee you, Australia is not going to be too quiet about what happens tomorrow with Turkey. If they go up and it's 3, they get their 3 points and they come and play the United States, I guarantee you it will be another physical matchup. And Australia will be coming down to punch us square in the face and say, what are you going to do about it? And we have to find a way to retaliate.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to. And yeah, Jose, thank you. Again, great point on those first-time starters. Again, those, 5 players making their World Cup debuts here tonight for Team USA. With that, Trevor, let's now actually get to that next match. And we got a whole week now to wait until Team USA plays again next Friday. But it's going to be, folks, a 3 o'clock Eastern kickoff, by the way, high noon Pacific time from Seattle Stadium in Seattle, Washington. Trevor, Team USA will play Australia next week for their second game of the 2026 FIFA World Cup from Seattle Stadium. Again, Trevor, I think a lot will hinge a little bit, if you ask me, regarding how the Aussies look against a Turkish team that, again, Trevor, we should remind people, they had to go through a gauntlet to even make it into the field because, again, with the new, 48-team field, certain spots were left up for grabs, though, with some of the overseas playoffs. So, again, that's how Italy got knocked out by Bosnia, as we said on Wednesday, via penalty kicks. How Denmark got knocked out, Cameroon got knocked out, playing like these, bonus Confederation playoffs, Trevor. So Turkey kind of took like the long route to get here as opposed to like the Aussies and Team USA. So, Trevor, where do you think probably, or, kind of tough to look ahead for a full week, though, knowing that you got, a game tomorrow, though, with Australia and with Turkey. So, Trevor, how much, though, do you think Team USA, though, I mean, they're going to watch this game closely, but what do you think is best case scenario, though, for Team USA as they watch this game play out, though, on Saturday between the Aussies and Turkey?
I feel like it's just seeing how Australia comes out against Turkey. Are they willing to sit back and see what happens? Or are they a team that, like I said, wants to go out there and get that goal early and be, kind of relaxing for the most part? But I mean, looking at the last matchups that Australia's had, they played Switzerland on June 6th and they ended in a draw 1-1. But then even on top of that, back in May on the 30th, they lose to Mexico 1-0. So we don't know what kind of Australia team we're going to get, but also Mexico is on a high right now, and they probably knew that we're playing the World Cup on home soil, so let's get all excited and get all the wins we can to keep that momentum going. So I feel like Australia is that team where it's like it's going to act like a dark horse, and you don't know what you're going to get until you play them that day.
By the way, folks, I may have misspoken. I just double-checked. That will not be that game, Australia playing Turkey, does not kick off until midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific time from Vancouver, not from Seattle, from Vancouver tomorrow. And also, Trevor, I think what's more surprising, at win probability right now, Turkey is favored 56% to 25% for a draw, only a 19% chance for the Aussies to come out on top tomorrow night. That one, I think, is shocking right there.
That is shocking.
So, that is very much a shocking turn of events, though. But with that in mind, again, that is the main game. And again, Team USA will be back in action next Friday at high noon Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern, to take on Australia from Seattle Stadium. A quick look ahead, though, folks, to the slate of games coming up on Saturday. The first quadruple header will take place tomorrow, beginning at 9 a.m. Pacific time and also 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. That will feature Qatar and Switzerland, Brazil and Morocco at noon Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern, followed by Haiti and Scotland at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific time, and then Australia will take on Turkey at the aforementioned midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific time from Vancouver. To recap the first 2 days, though, we'll have more about this, though, on the show tomorrow morning. Mexico over South Africa 2-0 to kick off the tournament on Thursday, with South Korea knocking off Czechia 2-1. And then earlier today, Canada and Bosnia tied 1-1, with Team USA again pummeling Paraguay 4-1 to round out the second full day of the FIFA World Cup so far here today. As a reminder, though, folks, again, the weekend's almost over, but the conversation is just heating up. Kick back inside the ETB Lounge every Sunday at 8 o'clock Pacific time, or 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Join us, though, where we unite the full panel of ETB hosts to break down a pivotal day in sports, from the prestige narratives of major championships and MLB afternoon slates to the chaos of the NBA Finals. We will cover it all, and where we also will roast the day's biggest blunders and gambling bad beats. The Lounge is your home for sports therapy every Sunday right here on ETB. Coming your way this week for a 2-hour show due to the nature of UFC 250 and all of our World Cup coverage over the course of the next several days. Also, Trevor, Nick Morgeson sent a very interesting story as well in the producer chat here. I need to go and find it real quick. But this is funny, folks. If you are, in fact, hungry tomorrow, if America beat Paraguay today in tonight's World Cup match, you can come celebrate at Steak and Shake tomorrow and get a Patriot milkshake for all of 1 quarter, limit to 1 milkshake per customer.
A quarter? Wow.
Only a quarter.
That's like, I got to come in with the mustache and be like, I would like another, please.
That, or you bring like the whole block with you. Like, hey, can we all get Patriot milkshakes for a quarter?
If it was McDonald's, that machine would break.
Oh man, yes, that is very much true. If that was the case, sorry, Mickey D's, but yes. Oh, that's. Hurry up, we're hungry. We want our shake. Bob's beeper moment. Yeah, it is. I think one of these. What? Yeah, that's not right. One quick comment here from our good man Alex, who says, sadly, guys, though MLS on this roster seems to be a huge problem. Maybe not, Trevor. I mean, I get it though, where Alex is coming from, though. I think because a lot of these guys, though, Trevor, have now become big name guys, though, like Pulisic over in Milan or overseas, though. So I wouldn't say it's a huge problem yet, but perhaps, though, it could be in some fans' minds, though. But I think, though, Trevor, still, regardless of that, regardless of that, though, I mean, 4 goals is 4 goals, though, for Team USA here tonight.
Yep, like I said, 4 goals is 4 goals at this point. So we'll take it with what it is, a little bit of a grain of salt. But as we get more into the tournament, does it show? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will, and I still think, though, that who would have thunk, though, that so much would be riding a little bit on the Turkey-Australia match coming up, though, from Vancouver at midnight Eastern on Saturday.
It's too long of a wait. I'm like, when I see that, I'm like, I'm snuggled up in bed. I'm like, can I stay awake long enough to watch the game? It'll be a brutal one.
You know what you do? You know what you do? You fall asleep and you listen to the game.
Yeah,
on TV.
That's the way to do it.
That may be the way that the East Coast will have to do that tomorrow for the 4th game of the evening. For the 3rd full day of the World Cup coming your way again, Qatar and Switzerland at noon, Pacific time, Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, Scotland, and then Australia and Turkey. So Group B, Group C, Group D, all will be in action for tomorrow's slate. We will, again, folks, have more about storylines involving the World Cup again tomorrow morning as we get ready to wrap up here for the night on this Friday into a Saturday morning on the East Coast. But once more, again, our next show, folks, is in fact tomorrow morning for Empty the Pitch to recap Thursday and Friday in its full entirety and preview the full slate of games on Saturday. Again, set those alarms for 11 a.m. Eastern and 8 a.m. Pacific time, especially myself out here. I'll have to be, up at about 7 a.m. to get ready for the show tomorrow. But it will be worth it, though, because, again, we've been planning this show up for quite a long time here. And we, again, are beyond thankful. 442 people getting the World Cup fix here on this Friday and early Saturday morning after watching Team USA defeat Paraguay 4-1 for a opening victory for Team USA. Still, again, a lot of groups some groups have not opened up play yet. But right now, after one day at least, on top of the standings in Group D, Team USA, 1 match played, 1 win, no draws, no losses, 4 goals scored, 1 goal allowed for a +3 goal differential in all 3 points, while Paraguay is 0-1 for a -3 goal differential and the first loss of the tournament for themselves. They will be back in action next week and will have to probably play for their playoff lives or the knockout round lives for them coming up next week. With that in mind, though, Trevor's, we get ready to wrap up here for our 90-minute get-together, though, my man. Final thoughts for the night's program and for the opening day for Team USA are what?
It is a starry night out in Los Angeles, California, and they have gotten their 3 goals with also 3 points. What a perfect way to start our World Cup campaign.
Great night for Team USA. Absolute dream night. I'll use some SDFC over LA Galaxy lingo from their first ever game in club history. An absolute dream night for the Stars and Stripes as they knock off Paraguay 4-1. Again, to recap tonight's game for you if you're just tuning in at the final whistle here for the show tonight once more. But again, Team USA wins 4-1. Goals via an own goal by Damian Bobadilla back in minute 7. Flo Balogun, 2 goals in minute 31 and minute 45 plus 5 of stoppage time. And then Gio Reyna, a right-footed, side-footed volley into the side netting for the 4th and final goal of the night as Team USA leaves LA for Seattle with all 3 points and a 4-1 victory over Paraguay in front of a sellout crowd at Los Angeles Stadium. 70,942 for the opening match. Again, one quick follow-up once more. Again, folks, Christian Pulisic, though, again, was pulled from the game, calf injury, but appears to be nothing more than a cautionary removal by Mauricio Pochettino for the star player for Team USA. So he should be healthy enough to play again come next Friday to get Team USA back on board. So yes, thank you again, Jose, for your commentary. With that in mind, though, folks, for our producer and engineer behind the scenes, Nick Morgeson, and for Trevor Williams, Callan and McClurg saying good night from Southern California and from Columbus, Ohio. Again, the final score for tonight's first edition of ETP. the USA Soccer Recap Show. Team USA 4, Paraguay 1 from LA Stadium in Inglewood, California. We'll catch you back here again, folks, tomorrow morning for a full recap of day 1 and day 2 and a full preview of day number 3 of the 2026 FIFA World Cup from Canada, the U.S., and Mexico, folks. Till tomorrow, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.